pitcher, as you recall, and he's been playing first base the last couple of years. Clearly the strength of his game is batter's box. He's in there because of his great hitting potential, and they'll take an occasional misplay in the field. 0-1 pitch coming to Jack Voigt. Jack hit a comebacker back to Clemens his first time up.
Well, Art House showing a lot of confidence in Jack Voigt, as he had A.J. Hinch sacrificing, moving Abbott up to second base, and of course that gives the A's a couple of opportunities at least to drive home another run.
And if Voigt does come up with a hit, it'll be his first ever career against Clemens. Now 0 for 7 against the Rocket Man. Count is 2-1. Clemens again laboring on the mound, even though he's allowed only a couple of hits and 1 run. Throwing a lot of pitches and taking a lot of time. A's have had a runner on base in every inning. 2-1 pitch. Voigt, a little late, will foul it off down the first base line. Tim Johnson, the ex-Marine, 48 years of age, has been around baseball as a scout or a coach or a manager since 1980. And he knows Roger Clemens. They were together in Boston for a couple of years when he was a coach for Kevin Kennedy. Voigt got on that one. He fouled that straight back, just missed it.
Sean Great in right field, playing very shallow as the left fielder does with the left-handed hitters. See the setup in the outfield, kind of straight away, but very shallow, figuring that if the hitters do make contact, they're not going to be able to drive it very well, especially to the opposite field off Clemens.
Strike 3 call. Tim McClellan rings up Jack Voigt, and there's the second out of the 4th inning.
Stayed away from him, and then the fastball inside corner. Well, that is tough. If you swing, you got to break your bat at least,
and you're going to be out.
Yeah, or you're going to hit a weak ground ball.
Now Rogers got one for each of his 4 boys. Corey, Kobe, Casey, and Cody. Jason McDonald to right field. Green goes back towards right center and tracks it. The error on third baseman Sprague goes Clemens and the Blue Jays no harm. A's don't score on the top. We go to the bottom of number 4. Still 1-0 A's. Off of Kerry Wood. Yeah, strike 3 called. Roger gets back a bit at Grieve with his 5th strikeout of the ball game. 2 away in the A's 5th.
He said forget about staying outside and let him take the ball to left field. Clemens does a good job of mixing them up inside with a fastball, a little tailing action right over the corner. And Tim McClellan, although we see the call very late, he lets the hitters and the catcher know that it is strike 3.
And Stairs clubs one to left center field, and that ball is going to be raced down by Felipe Crespo. Is playing a pretty good left field tonight. He's a former infielder, took off some fouls to play in the outfield, but did a nice job. First time up, he hit one sharply to left. It was caught by Felipe Crespo. We are in a 1-1 baseball game. Well pitched between Roger Clemens and Jimmy Haynes. He's getting their run in the 3rd, a 2-out double from Grieve, and he came around to score, and a later double by Stairs. But in the bottom of the 5th, the A's allowed their 27th unearned run of the season to score. It's 27 in 37, playing their 37th game tonight. 2-1 pitch. Ed Sprague, big hop, comes in. This time Delgado stays on the bag, and Giambi is out. 1 away. And since giving up the back-to-back 2-out doubles in the 3rd, Roger Clemens has not allowed a base hit. Of course, he's only given up those 2 doubles. Those are the only 2 hits that he has allowed tonight. And against the A's 11 days ago, he allowed only 1 hit through 7. That is one of those. He misses to Spezio.
Well, you look at Clemens and Henkin this time last year. By the 15th, they were 10-1, 8-6 this year. It's one of the biggest difference for the Blue Jays. Clemens with the tough losses. Henkin probably not pitching the way he and the Blue Jays feel that he's capable. Guzman not pitching very well.
One and 2 on Spezio. Last year, Clemens and Henkin, the last 2 American League Cy Young Award winners, combined to go 36 and 17, anchored by Clemens 21 and 7. Spezio rips one. Base hit. That'll skip to the wall. Spezio on his way to second. Green just now picking it up. Scott Spezio has a 1-out double. The A's 3rd hit of the game. They've all gone for 2 bases.
Spezio had flied out to left field in his first 2 at-bats, and what we've seen so often is think back to the grand slamming hit off David Cone, but fastball in, watch how quickly he turns, and boy, that's impressive. I see the hips open and that bat just swing right down through the hitting zone and hit the ball very hard down the right field. He's got some pop with the inside. Pretty good fastball thrown by Clemens.
Now Kurt Abbott will try to bring in Spezio. Abbott had some good rips against Clemens. This time he's laid over the top of the A's first base dugout for a strike. He struck out the first time at a high fastball, but he pulled Clemens sharply and just missed a couple of hits down the left field line. He also reached on the throwing air charge to Ed Sprague. Even though with a better play by first baseman Delgado, they would have gotten Abbott out. What have you noticed different about Clemens tonight, Ray, than 11 days ago? Has he changed much of what he's doing?
Not really. He's kind of the same. He's just using the splitter when he's falling behind on the count, and hitters are looking fastball. He's a smart pitcher. He's got a number of pitches, number of weapons he can use to get hitters out. And he is one pitcher that has so many pitches that I figure he never will get in a pattern. Doesn't have to, unless he's just so overpowering with his fastball.
Fernandez ducking in to talk to Clemens. And when he first came up, Roger basically was a 2-pitch pitcher. But over the years, like Nolan Ryan, he's added a thing or 2.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
He called time and said, come on out here.
Come on out here.
Oh, may I?
Mr. Clemens, can I help you? 90 pitches.
He said, how am I throwing? Am I still throwing hard?
Yes, sir, Mr. Clemens. Well, they signed Darren Fletcher as a free agent. The thought would be that he would be a platoon guy with Benito Santiago. Diamond's turned that one over a little bit as Abbott missed it. Count is 2-2.
Benito who?
The guy that had the car crash. Is he going to play this year? Wow, he had a bad
might
year.
be over.
He had a bad year last year. They gave him a 3-year deal for $10 million.
I think only 2 guaranteed, and the third was dependent on
him playing a little bit.
Well, playing and getting some numbers and at bats and things, which he'd have to play 2 years in this 1 year to get enough for the third.
Well, we kid about it, but it was really a scary injury and an accident. He was driving his Ferrari in Fort Lauderdale in early January and wrapped it around a tree and nearly avoided a disabling spinal injury. They were very concerned about his welfare, but looks like he may miss the entire year. Count is 2-2 as Abbott settles back in, trying to bring in Spezio. The A's in a 1-1 game at the top of the 6th. Clemens missed. 3-2. Must have been inside, huh? If he gets on base or up, A.J. Hinch will be the batter. Well, that's the pitch you got to lay off. Well, that's not a pitch you're not going to do a whole lot with. That pitch up and in You just have to hope McClellan does not give him the call. There it is again, and this time over the middle a little bit too much, and he takes a rip, and Clemens does get the strikeout, his 6th of the game.
And he felt he did not have to throw a breaking pitch, just rear back and throw gas, and he did. Pitch was up, too close to take for a possible ball 4.
Once again, Roger going with the mouth guard. I think he really just bites down hard when he gets on the mound. Just uses it for the bottom teeth. One-oh pitch to A.J. Hinch, straight back. 1-1. Hinch walked his first ever time up against the 4-time Cy Young Award winner. Then he laid down a beautiful sacrifice to move Abbott in the scoring position. Abbott was left stranded. So A.J. does not have an official at bat yet tonight. And they'll probably announce right around what we had last night in mid-25s, somewhere in there. Doesn't sound a whole lot different in here, Ray, than when they had 50.
Right.
This has got to be the quietest bunch. They're even quiet for the Toronto Raptors games. They had a lot of the artificial sounds in the arena to get them going here, but very quiet bunch.
Maybe they're just polite.
I hear when they go to church, though, they yell and scream. They're rough there. Only at sporting events. Count is 2-2. Ten years they've been in the SkyDome. One of the big problems they have, a lot of the luxury suites, their leases, which were 10-year leases when they first signed them, are coming up for renewal. And they're going to have some competition now in the marketplace. 2-2 pitch. A.J. Hinch fouls off down the first base line. We mentioned the Raptors play here, but the plan is for them to move into a brand new building, the Air Canada Center, sometime in February. Also, the Toronto Maple Leafs will be moving into that building, as the Maple Leafs and Raptors are owned by the same group now.
When you turn on the television, you will not see a sporting event with the exception of hockey right now. No baseball, no basketball, just hockey.
That Red Wings Blues game was pretty good last night. 2-2 pitch. Nice one. Clemens went to a breaker. The splitter to get A.J. Hinch with 2 strikes. Double by Spezio does him no harm. We go to the bottom of the 6th, still 1-1. Jimmy Haynes will go to work here against Sean Greenfoss as we begin the bottom of inning number 6. Jimmy misses with a curveball to Green. 1-1 game. Hayes getting their run off of Roger Clemens in the 3rd. Consecutive 2-out doubles from Grieve and Stairs. Where the Jays tied the game. In the last batting inning, their bottom of the 6th. Costly error by Jason McDonald allowed a Fernandez single to become 3 bases. He later scored in a Darren Fletcher sacrifice fly. Another breaking pitch from Haynes. Count is 2-1. Sean Green 0 for 2 tonight. Fly to right, struck out. He is now hitless in his last 11 at-bats. Should be 12. Haynes takes it himself in foul ground.
I don't think A.J. Hinch saw it. Good job by Jimmy Haynes taking charge. I'd like to see that.
Jimmy Haynes really showing a lot of the signs of a guy who is going to become a consistent presence. Look at that beautiful curveball over the top for a strike, freezing Felipe Crespo. Rick Peterson, the A's pitching coach, had an interesting quote about Jimmy Haynes after his last outing. Ray said, "What I see right now is every outing he does things that are showing his ability to bridge the gap between potential and performance." As Giambi takes that by himself. And that's exactly right at about this stage of his career, age 25, he'll be 26 in early September now. It's time to start producing. Take all that great natural ability and go out and win.
And it has to be encouraged. 3 games in succession in which he has been locked in, throwing exceptionally well. And you'd like to see a pitcher not have to think about anything with the exception of getting the sign, the target, and throwing the ball. Not thinking about, well, is this mechanic? Am I doing everything properly? He just looks like everything is going exactly like he wants without any thinking at all.
There's a nice fastball to Delgado. He has the curveball going. He's thrown some nice changeups, and he's had the consistently effective high fastball all night. He's only walked 1 guy, and he's also had some adversity around him. He's had some misplays made behind him, some costly ones. A little bit too high, says Tim McClellan. Count is 1-1 strike on Delgado. Delgado drove the ball his last time up. Haynes got a break on it. It went right off the top of the wall in right center field. I mean, he missed a home run by nothing more than an inch. And maybe here in Canada, a centimeter. Good pitch. That's a good pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kept it low and away.
And remember, Jimmy Haynes says he gets stronger as the game goes.
See where Hinch sets up. Right in the middle. Oh, beautiful curveball. Strike 3 called. A beauty on Delgado. Jimmy Haynes sets down Green, Crespo, and Delgado. 1, 2, 3. And his duel with Roger Clemens will now go to the 7th inning. We are still tied at 1-1. We'll be in Arizona to take on the D-backs. We'll have that for you at 7 o'clock.
How about them Diamondbacks?
Well, they're struggling. They've lost 7 in a row. They have the worst record in baseball at 8-30. And Milwaukee, after a great start, they're sliding back as they have lost 4 in a row. Jack Voigt will try Roger Clemens here. He's the A's number 9 hitter. Jason McDonald, Dave Maggin at the top of the order will follow. If you're just joining us tonight, Ricky Henderson not in the lineup tonight. Ricky was 0 for 3 against Clemens 11 days ago. Struck out all 3 times up, and Art Howe elected to keep him out tonight. He also thought he was a little slow with his swing last night. What's Clemens looking at? Can't believe it's 3-0.
No, I can't believe he didn't call that pitch that was 6 inches outside of strike.
Yeah, you know who I am?
Because he has been doing that a couple of times. McClellan's done a good job behind the plate.
Ball 4, a 4-pitch walk to the number 9 hitter. Let's see how Art Howe plays it with Jason McDonald here.
Yeah, Greg, you talk about the Diamondbacks and their horrible start. And it's interesting as you go into different cities and you talk to baseball people, the one constant is that nobody really cares about the Diamondbacks with this horrible start because of a lot of the things that went on during spring training, the offseason, and the quote of inventing the game of baseball. You know, that's it's really interesting. It happened here in Toronto, the same thing.
McDonald is bunting Ray. Sprague, and he will throw to first. And he gets his man, Tony Fernandez covering. Good bunt by Jason McDonald. Moves Jack Voigt into scoring position. Jack is the potential go-ahead run here in a 1-1 game in the top of the 7th.
Clemens is not an easy pitcher to bunt off of, especially for sacrificing, and A.J. Hinch has done it tonight, and we just saw Jason McDonald do it.
So Art Howe electing to have McDonald bunt ahead of his string of left-handed batters. And the first guy is Dave Maggin, one of the top hitters in all of baseball coming into the game with a .333 batting average, 9th best in the American League. He is 0 for 3 tonight. But this should be a good matchup. First base is open, and Clemens throws him strike 1. Probably isn't a guy in the lineup you'd rather have up right now. Although Grieve and Stayers wouldn't be bad either, and they're going to be next. See how Clemens pitches in with Voit in scoring position. Goes right after him and gets a couple of strikes out of him.
Clemens is a type of pitcher that, think back to a guy like Tom Seaver, especially a guy like Seaver, who could throw hard, but he always kept some in reserve. He never threw hard every pitch until he had to. And that's a special pitcher who can do that. Throw 90, but here comes a 95 when I need it. And you watch Clemens with the runner in scoring position, he gets a little extra.
Magadan in the air, shallow right center field. Shannon Stewart is under it, makes the play. That's why that matchup was so interesting. Magadan, the best in the league with runners in scoring position, and for Clemens, as you mentioned, the great ones, they know when to get the big outs. Jack Morris was very much like that. His years in Detroit. And Catfish Hunter was a guy, Ray. He wasn't a real hard thrower, but you would often say when he needed that extra on the fastball at a critical moment, he'd notch it up 3 or 4, 5 miles an hour.
Mike Mussina has said that often also. He said, I know when I have my good stuff, and if I throw 90, I'll make sure I throw about 87, 88 until I need the extra couple of miles per hour in certain situations.
Batter now is Ben Grieve. Grieve struck out looking his last time up. And he takes that pitch high for a ball. He has also doubled and scored the A's only run, and he walked his first time up. Ooh, Clemens overthrowing that. Fletcher almost had the shoulder come out of the socket to catch that ball. 2-0.
Fletcher just got a flex to his left shoulder. Still there, I guess.
I think Jack Voit may have duped Clemens. He took off like he was running, and Clemens may have caused him to lose his mechanics on that pitch. There's a strike on 2-0. 1-1 ball game. The A's have had a problem the last week or so scoring in the last few innings. Certainly had that problem last night. Missed. 3-1. Big call there by McClellan, not giving Clemens that strike. That changes the whole complexion of the at bat. From 2-2 to 3-1 is a major difference. Let's see what Grieve can do. Going to come in, and Grieve got jammed. Gonzalez out behind third will make the play, and the A's get a leadoff walk from Voit, bunt him into scoring position, but Clemens gets Magadan and Grieve, and the A's don't score. We'll stretch here in Toronto and cut back at the bottom of the 7th. Prohibited. Here's pitch number 88 tonight from Jimmy Haynes to the Toronto Blue Jays. He misses for ball 1 to Mike Stanley, who he has struck out twice. Stanley, Tony Fernandez, Ed Sprague schedule. Haynes continuing to throw hard. He is having a brilliant outing here. The only run he has allowed, Ray, was set up by the 2-base error by Jason McDonald in center.
Surprising to see Mike Stanley not try to take that outside fastball to right field, where he has gone so often throughout his career, especially of late, hitting the home runs with the Yankees. But it also might be because Jimmy Haynes' fastball is very good out there.
Towering pop-up, shallow right center field, and Ben Grieve has got it lined up, and he makes the play. Stanley is 0 for 3 tonight. Mike Stanley back in the Blue Jays lineup for the first time since Saturday night in Seattle, when he was hit by a Heathcliff Slocum pitch right above the left elbow. Did not play Sunday, did not play the first game of the series last night, but he healed in time to go after Haynes. Here's Tony Fernandez, fouled out to third his first time up. Next time up, hit a sinking line drive to left center that Jason McDonald charged. It dropped and got past McDonald, rolled all the way to the wall. And Fernandez, leading off the Blue Jay 5th, got to third base. It was ruled in a single and a 2-base error on McDonald. There's a strike. Nice pitch by Jimmy Haynes, and Fernandez way out in front.
Changeup is something Jimmy Haynes worked on during the spring. It's amazing that he has mastered it as quickly as he has. Curveball.
Spanked to Abbott. And out of Giambi, and they get Tony Fernandez. 2 outs.
A lot of times as a catcher, you do not want to let a pitcher shake you off so much, but when Jimmy Haynes has shook off his catcher tonight, he has an idea of what he wants to throw, how he's going to throw it, and so A.J. Hinch is going with him. Just start putting the signs down that it says, okay, I'm ready. This is what I want.
Ed Sprague has walked and struck out. Sharply hit ball right to Abbott. Clemens throws over the top and gets him a 1-2-3 inning. Jimmy Haynes has retired 7 in a row. It is still 1-1 after 7. Now for a look at what's ahead tonight. Let's go to the Fox Network Center. Jimmy Haynes locked in a brilliant pitching duel with Roger Clemens as we go to the 8th inning here at SkyDome tonight. Greg Papa joined by Ray Fossey as always. Clemens has allowed 3 hits and a run. Haynes has allowed 3 hits and a run. Matt Stairs is the guy that brought in the Athletics run when he drove one. A smash over the head of right fielder Sean Green. RBI double, bringing in Ben Grieve from second base. That was back in the A's 3rd. A's have only picked up 1 base hit since. A double by Spezio. All 3 of their hits have been doubles. Here's a strike.
Did you hear Tim McClellan that time? Yeah, you can hear it.
Verbally, he will alert the players before we get the visual now. But when you see him turn his body, that's a pretty good hand. He's going to call a strike. Out is a ball and 2 strikes. McClellan's been umpiring in the American League since 1983. Here's what the A's have done this year in the close ones: 3 runs or less. The 1-run games they have won. That's been Art Howe's MO throughout his managerial career. He's been able to win those tight games. Of course, the A's lost last night by a run in extra innings and the Canseco homer.
That says something about the A's. 25 games decided by 3 runs or less. That means they've been in 25 of the 37. Not more than that. I mean, just playing very good baseball, just the little things so far.
Really very seldom this year have they been blown out of a game. Jason Giambi and then Scott Spezio. Batters 4, 5, and 6. 3-2 pitch is ball 4. Matt Stairs is on base with a leadoff walk. Clemens is well over 110 pitches. Precisely now at 118. Now he's a big, strong man, and throughout his career he's thrown 140, 150, many a start. No activity in the Blue Jay bullpen. We'll just see how long they go with Roger.
He throw that 162 back in. It's been a while back, but he and David Cone, the only 2 to hit the 160+ mark.
Another ball as Clemens now is losing his release point a little bit. You can see him twisting his body after the last walk. He sometimes doesn't get that shoulder straight, and he'll leave the pitch up a little bit. He's walked Giambi once tonight. And again, he misses. Clemens may be running out of gas here. And we are going to have, for the first time tonight, some bullpen activity for the Blue Jays, as Darren Fletcher will go out and buy some time. Paul Quantrill is the guy that followed Clemens to the mound against the A's back on May the 2nd. And he was very good, giving the A's nothing. He retired all 6 guys that he faced that afternoon.
And with Clemens pitching up and out of the strike zone, this is where the hitters have to make sure they really zone down. Don't help Clemens out by swinging on a pitch that's up in the zone too much. All you're going to do is get under the ball. Very tough to get on top of a ball that's up around the waist, or especially the letters, where he's been throwing to Matt Stairs and now Jason Giambi.
See what he gives him on 2-0. It was a 2-0 pitch that Stairs clubbed for his double. Again, he misses, Ray. Clemens has thrown as many as 131 pitches. He did that against the Yankees back on April the 22nd. And his last outing, he threw 121. And in his outing against the A's, he threw 106, going 7 strike on 3-0. 3 balls and 1 strike on Jason Giambi. Top of the 8th, 1-1 game. Foul straight back, 3-2. What do you do with Matt Stairs now? Do you get him running? Do you run the risk of running into a strike him out, throw him out double play? Is Giambi on him enough? Do you feel confident enough that he'll put the ball in place somewhere?
Giambi is usually pretty patient at the plate and will not swing at a pitch out of the strike zone.
Stairs not going, Ray. It is ball 4. Back-to-back walks issued by Clemens, leading off the 8th inning.
6 walks. Wow.
6 walks for Roger Clemens tonight. Mel Queen will go out and have a conference. A's are 1 batter away from loading up the bases tonight. Incidentally, Discovery Card will donate $500 to the local chapter of the Make-A-Wish Foundation for the game. Whatever Mel Queen is telling the Rocket, he agrees. Mel Queen goes back to the Blue Jay dugout, and Roger Clemens will try to pitch himself out of this jam. Jimmy Haynes right now locked in a 1-1 duel.
Sitting next to the man, Steve Vucevic. This is a tough trip for Vuce. Coming into Canada, then 4 stops on a 10-day road trip.
That's very odd. 4 cities to play 10 games. 2 here, and they're off to Detroit for just 2. Then to Chicago, and then they swing through Southern California on the way home, and we'll be there to greet them in Southern California. We'll have the games for you next Tuesday and Wednesday here on Fox, and the net will have it on Thursday also. All 3 games from the new Ed, Edison International. What are they calling that? The Big Ed, Mr. Ed.
Let's just hope the rain is gone by the time we get there.
The Padres got rained out last night.
Amazing.
What's going on in the world? And the Dodgers had to wait an hour to play.
First pitch strike, and then Scott Spezio attempted a bunt. Now it's 0-2 as Clemens, after getting that first pitch strike, did not give him the 4-seam fastball. It looked like it might have been a splitter going down and away from him, but not bunt it into fair territory.
Now he'll swing away, and he's going to do his job anyway. Clemens can't make the play. The bases are loaded. Roger Clemens had that ball roll up his wrist, and Spezio's on. It's an error on Clemens. The A's have loaded the bases, so Spezio, in failing to lay down the bunt, has actually done better as he reaches base himself, moving Stairs to third and Giambi to second.
Well, it's got to be Clemens all the way. He probably would have caught the ball and run over to first base to make the put out himself, because Delgado was charging in, and Clemens just could not handle it, coming off rather slowly, as a matter of fact. But definitely a ball that should have been played, and they should have at least had 1 out.
And this is a real tough decision for rookie manager Tim Johnson and pitching coach Mel Queen. Do you go with a clearly tiring Roger Clemens, or do you go to the bullpen? I mean, even though he's tired, he's probably better than most. He still can do that to you, right? Throw the high fastball in.
Well, that's the high out of the strike fastball. And Ron Washington called Abbott down. And of course, you can't have Denny Wallen, a hitting coach, come out and talk. So Ronnie probably told him, just be patient. And this is where you have to look at the pitcher is in trouble. Clemens is having trouble throwing strikes in this inning. Make sure he throws a strike. He's going to get you out.
Abbott throughout his career has not been a very good hitter with the bases loaded. Ray, I go back to the conversation you and I had, what, about 4 hours ago with Buck Martinez around the cage. He just is perplexed by some of the bad fundamentals the Blue Jays are showing in these situations. The hitter is just being overly aggressive. Strike two. Big pitch for Clemens as Abbott swung at a pitch out of the strike zone, and now he's into a 2-strike hole.
You mentioned about Tim Johnson, a tough decision. In reality, it's not, because he knows this man has been in jams before and he can pitch himself out, and he just kind of lets him go.
Clemens well over 120 pitches now. Abbott backed away. That pitch was pouring in on him.
One thing you can say, if your hitter ever gets into one of the fastballs and gets the right swing, Clemens is going to provide the power.
1-2 on Kurt Abbott. 1-1 ball game. Bases loaded in the top of the 8th. This is why they all came out here tonight to watch this. And Abbott fouls it straight back, and Roger Clemens has now thrown 131 pitches, and that equals the most that he has thrown in any game this year. He threw 131, as I mentioned, against the Yankees on April the 22nd here when he was beaten by Andy Pettitte.
And this probably would be his last inning, or at least if he gets through the inning.
We'll do it again on 1-2. Struck him out. Third time Kurt Abbott goes back shaking his head as Roger Clemens strikes him out again. And there's a huge out, number 1.
Boy, he just painted the outside corner, got a called strike out there after the fastball up and in, and then went right back to the outside corner, and that's Roger Clemens at his best right there. He has not lost anything off his fastball, and somehow, some way, A.J. Hinch has to find a way to make contact and infield halfway at short and second.
Strikeout number 8 for Clemens. He has walked 6 in the game, and he's done each to A.J. Hinch. Walked him in the 2nd, struck him out in the 6th. In between, A.J. got down a successful sacrifice. Bases full of Oakland A's. 1-0 pitch, misses. 2-0. Now you've really got to be patient, Ray, and work this guy on 2-0. You've got to swing at your pitch.
Now, the deeper it goes in the hitter's favor, the more Roger Clemens has to come more to the middle of the strike zone. He got ahead of Kurt Abbott so he could go to the outside corner and maybe even a little out of the zone.
A.J. fouls it off. A.J.'s been a good, fundamentally sound hitter this year. Matt Stairs opened the inning with a walk. Giambi also walked. And then Spezio, after failing to get on a bunt with a strike on 2 strikes, beat the ball into the ground, and Clemens misplayed it, rolling off his wrist. And Abbott struck out, and here we are. Bases loaded, 1 out, 2-1. Roger Clemens to A.J. Hinch. 2-2.
Shortening up and not trying to be too aggressive with 2 strikes, but you still have to have enough with the swing to put the ball in play deep enough in a sense of getting a fly ball to get the runner in.
Again, just missing.
Clemens definitely missed the target that time as his catcher Fletcher set up way outside.
He's still searching for the big hit tonight. They are 1 for 12 tonight with runners in scoring position. Boy, they'd like number 2 right now with the bases juiced. Count is 2-2 on A.J. Hinch. Chopped it. Hernandez only has 1 play. The Oakland A's have taken the lead as Matt Stairs scores from third base. It will not be a base hit, but that's the way to make it out. A.J. Hinch drives in the run, and the A's take back the lead at 2-1. The other runners, of course, also advance with the bases loaded. Giambi to third, Spezio to second.
Go ahead, Jack.
Hi, Jack.
That'll bring on Jack Voigt with first base open. A.J. Hinch just beat that ball into the ground. The A's letting the carpet do the work, Ray. Both Spezio and Hinch just beating it down and getting the ball off the carpet up in the air where they could not get a couple of outs.
And A.J. Hinch knew that fastballs were going to be away, and he just couldn't reach it enough to drive it hard to right field.
Count is 1-1. That crowd really working over McClellan for Roger Clemens. The A's only have the one-run lead here. Jack Voigt looking to come through with 2 outs now. Strike. This should be it for Roger Clemens. He's thrown a lot of pitches in the inning, and now at 146 for the evening. Giambi and Spezio. Giambi walked. Spezio reached on the Clemens error. 2-2 on Voigt. The base hit could drive in 2 more. And he takes one sharply to left center field over the head of Stewart. That ball is off the wall on a hop. 2-run score. Giambi and Spezio score standing. And Jack Voigt delivers a 2-run double to give the A's a 4-1 lead.
Art Howell genius or what? Outstanding move by Art Howell as he put Jack Voigt in. Jack out taking extra batting practice today, and boy, did it pay off with that shot. We talked about if you get into one of the fastballs of Roger Clemens, he'll provide the power if you can get the right swing on it. And Jack Voigt did. 2-2. Got the fastball and hammered it.
Well, Jack Voigt, Ray, as you know, has not gotten a lot of hits this year, but he's gotten some big ones. He had that big 9th inning base hit in Cleveland to bring home an extra run. And here, by a 2-1 lead going to the bottom of the 8th, even though the bottom of the order is due in for Toronto. You know, you're going to see the top of the order at least in the 9th inning. Very precarious. Well, the whole complexion of the game now shifts on that 2-run double. It's 4-1 A's. 2-0 pitch to McDonald. Jimmy Haynes has a 3-run lead and now has the upper hand against Clemens.
And the A's have shown a lot of patience tonight, drawing the 6 walks, and very important, the 2 leading off this inning have come around to score.
Count is 3-1 on Jason McDonald. Jason 0 for 2 tonight. Was hit by a pitch to open the game, and then he sacrificed in the 7th. 3-1. Pulls it, and it's hit sharply foul wide of first. Well, Roger Clemens well over 150 pitches now, and he's thrown 36 alone in this bottom of the 8th. Yeah, that's why I gave him $31 million. That's why he's your guy. He's a 4-time Cy Young Award winner, and even though Quantrilla's up in the bullpen, has been ready for about 10 minutes. You just go with Roger. He eventually strikes out McDonald, but the A's struck back in a big way, scoring 3 runs, the last 2 on the double by Voigt. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 4-1 A's.